3 days before Christmas Eve, my mom looked me dead in the eye and said, "The best gift you could give this family would be if you just disappeared." The dining room went completely silent. My brother, my sister, my stepdad, none of them defended me. They just stared at their plates, nodding along. They thought they were finally cutting the dead weight. They thought they were going to enjoy their dream holiday dinner in the beautiful, sprawling house they lived in. But what they completely forgot is that I bought that house. I paid the mortgage. I funded their entire lifestyle. So I decided to give my mother exactly what she asked for. I vanished, but not before selling the house out from under them, canceling their catered dinner, and taping a single document to the fridge that silenced them forever. Drop your city in the comments below, and let's begin. My name is Blake. I'm 32 years old, and until recently, I believed that if you poured enough love, patience, and money into a broken family, you could eventually fix it. I was wrong. For the past 7 years, I've been the silent backbone of my household. While my mother, my stepdad, and my 2 younger siblings, the undisputed golden children of the family, lived a life of absolute leisure, I worked 80 hours a week building my consulting business. I was the one who quietly paid off their credit card debts, funded their lavish vacations, and purchased our massive suburban home just outside the city. They enjoyed the luxury, but to them, I was never a sister or a daughter. I was just an ATM with a pulse. The breaking point arrived exactly 3 days before Christmas Eve. The dining room table was beautifully set, and a minor argument broke out because I refused to buy my 25-year-old brother a brand new car for the holidays. My mother's face twisted with a sudden, vicious rage. She slammed her fork down, looked me dead in the eye, and delivered the most crushing blow of my life. The best gift you could give this family would be if you just disappeared. The entire room went completely silent. My brother, my sister, my stepdad, none of them defended me. They just stared down at their expensive plates, quietly nodding along. In that echoing, agonizing silence, something inside me finally snapped. The immediate aftermath of that dinner was a blur of cold clarity. I walked upstairs to my bedroom, locked the door, and packed a single suitcase. As I sat on the edge of my bed listening to the muffled sounds of their laughter echoing from the living room downstairs, a profound realization washed over me. 22 years of people-pleasing, of swallowing my own pride, and of sacrificing my financial security to buy their affection had meant absolutely nothing to my own bloodline. To them, my presence was entirely conditional on my wallet. But as I stared at the walls of the beautiful bedroom, a cold smile crept across my face because my family had overlooked a massive, undeniable legal truth. While my mother loudly proclaimed the estate to be a family asset that I was morally obligated to maintain, she completely forgot how the paperwork worked. The deed to the property, the primary mortgage, and every single utility account were registered strictly in my name alone. I didn't owe them a roof over their heads. The next morning, from a quiet room at a local hotel, I set my secret plan into motion. I contacted a high-powered real estate investor who had spent months sending cash offers to homeowners in our booming neighborhood. I called his office, bypassed the usual negotiations, and told him I was ready to accept an immediate, all-cash closing on the property. The trap was set. While I stayed tucked away in the quiet safety of a boutique hotel downtown, my family continued acting as if absolutely nothing was wrong. To them, my sudden departure was just another dramatic tantrum. My mother even texted me a passive-aggressive reminder about the upcoming holiday chores, fully assuming that I would eventually crawl back, swallow my pride, and pay off all the mounting holiday bills like I always did. They were so blinded by their own sense of entitlement that they didn't even bother to check on me. They were completely focused on their dream holiday dinner, which was scheduled for Christmas Eve. My mother had gone completely all out this year, booking an incredibly lavish, fully catered feast from the most expensive culinary service in the city. She had arrogantly charged the multi-thousand-dollar balance directly to a secondary credit card account, where she was merely an authorized user. She fully expected me to blindly absorb the cost as my cost of admission back into her good graces. But the financial bleeding stopped that afternoon. I sat at my hotel desk and systematically struck my first blow. I froze the joint accounts my mother had sneaky access to, shut down every single credit card in my name, and officially canceled the luxury catering order. Closing the deal required absolute precision and an iron will. That afternoon, I met with the cash investor at a quiet coffee shop to finalize the sale of the home. Because I agreed to a slightly discounted rate, he fast-tracked the legal paperwork through an expedited title company, compressing a process that usually takes weeks into a matter of hours. As I signed the final transfer documents, watching the massive wire transfer hit my business bank account, the investor laid out his strict terms of eviction. His crews were scheduled to begin a complete, top-to-bottom structural remodel immediately after the holiday weekend. He explicitly stated that the property had to be entirely vacant and broom clean by the day after Christmas, or the legal consequences would be severe. Looking down at the signed contract, a wave of intense clarity washed over me. I realized with absolute certainty that my mother's cruel words had paved the way for an absolute financial nightmare for the entire family. Within 48 hours, they would lose everything they had taken for granted. Yet, as I packed my pen away, I felt absolutely zero guilt. They had spent years exploiting my kindness, choosing greed, vanity, and manipulation over genuine love. They had demanded that I disappear from their lives, and now they were about to find out exactly what happens when the person who carries you finally steps aside. The execution of my revenge required absolute stealth. On the night before Christmas Eve, I slipped back into the quiet suburban house while the family was out. They were enjoying a lavish evening of last-minute window shopping, completely oblivious to the fact that the money funding their comfortable lifestyle had completely dried up. Walking through the front door felt like stepping into a stranger's house. I moved quickly and methodically through the rooms, packing the remaining personal items, documents, and keepsakes that belonged solely to me. I left everything else exactly as it was. Once my car was packed, I walked back into the pristine, darkened kitchen for the climax of my plan. I reached into my bag and pulled out the legal paperwork. Using a bright red piece of packing tape, I fastened the documents securely to the front of the stainless steel refrigerator, right where my mother always left her daily demands and grocery lists. On those pages was the ultimate reality check. I displayed a copy of the official, stamped cash sale deed proving the house no longer belonged to me, or them. Next to it, I placed a formal 3-day notice to quit, drafted by the new owner's aggressive legal team. The text explicitly stated that any individuals remaining on the premises past the deadline would face immediate forceful eviction by the county sheriff, alongside severe legal penalties for trespassing. They wanted a holiday without my presence, and now they had it. I took one final look at the home I had built, walked out into the crisp winter night, and locked the door behind me for the very last time. The discovery happened exactly when they expected their grand holiday celebration to begin. My family returned home late on Christmas Eve, laughing and anticipating a beautifully catered, stress-free feast. Instead, they walked into a freezing, dark, and completely empty kitchen. Their phones simultaneously buzzed with automated cancellation notifications from the luxury catering service, informing them that the multi-thousand-dollar order had been revoked due to a revoked payment method. Confused and rapidly growing angry, my mother flipped on the kitchen lights, and her eyes immediately landed on the ominous paperwork taped firmly to the front of the refrigerator. Within minutes, my phone absolutely exploded. A relentless torrent of frantic calls and increasingly vicious, unhinged text messages lit up my screen as my mother, stepdad, and siblings read the legal documents. The reality of immediate, forceful homelessness hit them all at once. They realized they had no money, no food, and exactly 3 days to vacate the premises before the county sheriff arrived to remove them. After letting it ring for nearly an hour, I finally decided to answer a call from my weeping, hysterical mother. She screamed through her tears, demanding to know how I could do something so incredibly cruel to my own family on the holidays. I listened to her panic calmly, my voice entirely unwavering as I delivered my final words to her. "You looked me in the eye and told me that the absolute best gift I could give this family would be if I completely disappeared," I reminded her. "So, I did exactly what you asked. Consider this beautiful house, my endless financial support, and my presence officially gone forever. Merry Christmas." I hung up the phone and blocked their numbers permanently. 3 months after that fateful Christmas Eve, the dust had finally settled, and the harsh reality of their choices caught up with my family. Without my continuous financial cushion to carry them, they were forced into a cramped, outdated rental apartment on the far edge of the city. My brother and sister had to quickly adjust to the jarring reality of working actual, entry-level jobs, just to help my stepdad cover their basic monthly expenses. The endless days of leisure, vanity, and exploitation were officially over for them. They had finally learned that actions carry severe consequences, and that burning your only bridge leaves you completely stranded in the cold. Meanwhile, my life transformed into something truly beautiful. I relocated to a peaceful, picturesque coastal town, investing a portion of my massive cash payout into a stunning home overlooking the ocean and placing the rest into secure investments. For the first time in my life, my mind was entirely free from the suffocating weight of family manipulation. Reclaiming my peace of mind was the greatest gift I could have ever given myself. Now, I want to ask you, the viewers listening to my story, what would you have done if you were standing in my shoes? Would you have walked away quietly, or would you have fought back differently? Comment your thoughts down below. And if you want to see how far justice can really go, make sure to click on one of the 2 videos popping up on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching until the very end.